before COVID and after COVID, the spending tendency, the living tendency changed. We experienced really bad economic in Hong Kong since 2020 to 2024. I can't say people doesn't have the money, but they tend to spend more carefully compared to before COVID. But in the past few months, as we can see that the restaurants getting more and more better. And then we just had Halloween. We saw the news about the Halloween, that the street was crowded. Some shops, some restaurants and bars said to the newspaper about 30 to 40% of income increase during the Halloween period. We can see that Hong Kong is getting better. The market is getting better. It's still growing in the future months. 2026 will be a good year to us, I forecast.
Welcome to Asia Wine Market, the series that takes you inside the most dynamic and fast-evolving wine markets across Asia. I'm your host, Roza, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories, trends, and opportunities shaping the future of wine in this vibrant region. Whether you're a winery looking to expand in Asia or a wine professional exploring global trends, this series is for you. Welcome to Asia Wine Market series. 2 weeks ago, we shared a detailed breakdown of the Chinese market, and today we're shifting our focus to Hong Kong. I'm thrilled to welcome the best sommelier of Asia and Pacific 2025, Reeze Choi. Reeze is the founder of Somm's Philosophy, a sommelier services and wine consultancy company. He's an advanced sommelier with the Court of Master Sommeliers, holds the ASI Diploma Gold, and is a WSET educator. He placed third at the 2023 Best Sommelier of the World and has won Best Sommelier of Greater China multiple times. Reeze is also a brand ambassador for Saichua Sparkling Tea, Vivang, and Star Wine List, and also a wine consultant for Yad, a supermarket chain. And besides that, he launched a winemaking project in Hiroshima with Vignoble Vineyard and Winery in 2023. All right, so welcome, Reeze. We're very happy to have you here today.
Thank you very much for having me. So excited about this podcast.
And the pleasure is ours. And not long time ago, Reeze visited my home country, Kazakhstan, to take part as a judge in the Best Sommelier of Kazakhstan competition. So, Reeze, just shortly, this was your first trip in Kazakhstan. So, what do you think about our country?
It was a really, really impressive and eye-opening trip for me. I never been to this country before, and I know nothing about this country. I don't know about the food, the culture, and then how it looks like. Nothing about this country. And my imagination before I land this country, I thought that I'm going to land between the field, surrounded by horses and cow. But it's really like impressive. I'm so surprised by, how busy it was. The F&B scenes was super, stunning. And then the hospitality of people was really, really impressive. So I was so surprised along the journey in Kazakhstan. And thank you for having me in the country. And then I enjoyed a lot the food. And then I tried some like very interesting drink, the horse milk. So yeah, I enjoyed a lot.
Okay, that's great to hear. I hope that you will have another chance to visit our country again, and not only Almaty, but also Astana, the capital city, and probably just traveling, not only for wine, but also as a tourist maybe.
I wish to, yeah.
Okay, before we dive into our main topics of today, can you please briefly walk us through how your journey in wine began and what inspired you to start your own consultancy, Somm's Philosophy?
Yeah, I started my career when I was 21, which is 16 years ago. I'm 37 now. And I started to learn about wine about 14 years ago. And then I joined my first competition in 2013. And then I'm still competing. I'm preparing for my world competition next year. I found that, there's a lot of places they are really short of manpower, or some small restaurants or sushi restaurants they can't afford a sommelier to stand on the floor for them, but they still want to have good enough wine program for their restaurants and bar. So I saw that this is a good business chance, so I just go for it. And I started my company in 2020. It's 5 years now, and I served a couple of restaurants in Hong Kong and also a supermarket chain. And I also an ambassador for some clients as well. You just talk about it in the introduction. Yeah, and about my wine, how I started it, I don't have a very romantic story to share. It was about money. It was like my manager told me, if you learn about wine, you can get more salary. And then that was a very simple reason. Because of money, I started to learn about wine. But when you started this journey, you found that it is super interesting to learn about wine, and more you learn, the less you know, you realize that you don't know so many things. So that's why I started my journey.
Money is a pretty good motivation to start something.
Yes. My first fine dining restaurants were Italian restaurants. So I started my wine journey with Italian wine, not French wine. To me, Italian, it is complicated to learn, but is relatively, compared to the other country, is relatively easier for beginners. I mean, like the pronunciation of Italian is so straightforward. You read the name, you know how to pronounce it. Doesn't like the German or the French. So I'm lucky enough to get started with Italian wine.
Well, yeah, Italian wines, like the brand's names, at least how many letters you see, so many sounds you usually pronounce. Not always, but most of the time. It's not like
Yes.
French, like word consisting of 10 letters, but only five of them you have to pronounce.
That's true.
All right, thank you for sharing your personal story. I've prepared a lot of questions and I'm a bit scared that we won't finish on time. So that's why let's dive into our main focus for today. So,
Mhm.
our three learning objectives are we're going to understand the Hong Kong wine market, consumer preferences, and top performing Italian wines. We're going to learn practical strategies for market entry, partnerships, and brand activation. And third, we're going to gain insights on cultural adaptation, education, and long term planning for success, especially for Italian wineries in Hong Kong market. So to begin, can you give us a short overview of the market today, key trends, and also consumer preferences?
Yeah, so it is a huge difference. I mean, this is similar to the other countries or the other cities in the world. Before COVID and after COVID, the spending tendency or the living tendency changed. Especially in Hong Kong after the COVID, we don't have that much of nightlife. I mean, people tend to go home earlier, and then the restaurants tend to be, closed very early. When you go out at 9 o'clock in the evening in the central of Hong Kong, 9 to 10, the streets was empty. So we experienced or we suffered a couple of years really bad economic in Hong Kong since 2020 to 2024. The spending power of people getting lax for a couple of years. I can't say people doesn't have the money, but they tend to be spend the money carefully, more careful compared to before COVID. The average chat of the restaurants dramatically decreased a lot. I'm working for a supermarket, so the most sales item in our supermarket is the lowest price on the rack. So in the restaurants, you don't have the middle range. So either the people spend their money for the most expensive wine on the list, or they go for the wine by glass, the cheapest wine by glass on the list. So you can see that's the two extremes of two type of customer in the markets too. And yes, and during the COVID, retail shop, online shop doing super well. I mean, because can't go out to the restaurants and spend their money on wine. So instead of they spend their money on the internet, buy them and then deliver the wine to their door. But now, in the past few months, as we can see that the restaurants getting more and more better. So, and then we just had our Halloween. We saw the news about the Halloween, that the street was crowded. And some shops, some restaurants and bars said to the newspaper about 30 to 40% of income increase during the Halloween period. We can see that Hong Kong is getting better. I mean, the market is getting better. We can see that it's still growing in the future months, I guess. 2026 will be a good year to us, I forecast. And about Italian wine, is also this is a hot topic in Hong Kong. This is a mainstream country, and people love Italian wine. We got a couple of importer they solely sell Italian wine in their portfolio, and then Italian government spending a lot of money on promoting their wine in Hong Kong as well. And then we had James Suckling tasting 2 days ago, and then there's so many good Italian wines showing. And then seems Italian wine is still one of the most well received wine in Hong Kong market.
And how would you rank like top three countries that are getting imported by volume?
So always French, Italy. I guess it was Australian or US wine. Yes. So French, Italy, Australian or US.
Okay, got it. And as for Italian wines, so which Italian wine styles or regions perform best in Hong Kong right now, and why do you think so?
Yeah, it's always Barolo, Brunello, Chianti, this kind of, mainstream of mainstream because they are most famous. And also I think that Moscato d'Asti is doing very well in Hong Kong as well because it's sweet. Hong Kong people, especially the younger people, they love lower alcohol, sweet style of wine. So Moscato d'Asti doing very well. But in my generation, I think that's the Barolo and Barbaresco, Brunello doing super well because have been taught in the WSCT book for many times. So people they go for so-called classic. So when people they need to know about the classic taste of Italy, they go for that kind of wine. So and then also it is the top wine of the country, and then doesn't like the French one. You don't really need to break your piggy bank to buy a bottle of top wine of Italy. So I think that's the reason behind why people love Barolo and Brunello so much because especially the Sangiovese or Nebbiolo type of wine. The price is very value for money at the same time too.
So, and also taste-wise, you said that younger consumers they prefer like sweeter styles, lighter, sweeter
Yeah.
styles. So it seems to me that actually what drives the consumption of people who are already established, they earn decently, they actually go for big regional names.
The classic grape, the famous grape variety. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, taste wise, how would they choose wines? But it seems like people can actually afford buying like higher priced wines. They still go for bigger original names. It's like for them, it plays more role rather than the taste itself. It seems to me like that.
Yes. Actually, I don't I won't say people don't care about the, the taste, but they care about the price and care about the name more than the taste itself.
Okay, got it. And what about like Hong Kong is very established market, not only in Asia but also like in the whole world. We can see like for example in Western established markets, we can see the rise of this Nolo wines, the rise of RTDs, and also some non-alcoholic beverages. In a way, they're kind of taking market share also from conventional wine. I would say, is it the same thing in Hong Kong now? Do you see the rise of these different types of beverages? And what makes them popular, if so?
Yes, I think that non-alcohol is taking more and more share in the market, but I don't see that non-alcohol wine and beer doing very well in Hong Kong because we don't like it. I think at least I don't like it. But the non-alcohol drinks doing very good now and being very famous, especially my client, Sideshow. They are super famous in Hong Kong, and then people love the tea because of the taste of it is good, and then still, people still stay sober after a couple of bottles because this doesn't have any alcohol. The other topic is coffee
Hmm.
because non-alcohol is trendy. Young people love it. It is cheaper compared to alcohol as well. Also kombucha,
Hmm.
people love it. And then we have a lot of trendy brands in the markets. So I think that non-alcohol is a new topic to Hong Kong, but still developing. And also, Hong Kong, beside wine, about the alcohol, Hong Kong is a big market for sake, Japanese sake. I'm sorry to use that word, but Hong Kong is a very mature market, but Hong Kong is also a very boring market because people drink the same thing all the time.
Okay. All right. We're not complaining. Stay boring, please. Especially with the conversations that we usually hear from other markets. I guess it's going to be like a delight to the conventional wine producers' ears. So
Yeah.
still boring for them. Okay, and a bit wrapping up the market part, can you please tell us what are the main channels for Italian wines in Hong Kong? Is it retail? Is it on trade, e commerce, or maybe also travel retail?
I think now switch back to restaurants. I'm very surprised that there's many little wine club. They're doing a lot of Italian wine tasting, Italian blind tasting. There's so many this kind of activities in the market, but still, restaurants is still the main tunnel for people to drink Italian wine at the wine bars, especially for the fine wines. Retail is doing very good, especially the e-commerce. After the COVID, especially the gates opens, everything back to normal. E-commerce doing very bad. Only maybe very handful of e-commerce company do very good. And the wine shop, some of the very famous shop like Watson, Enoteca, they sell a lot of Italian wine as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now that we have a better understanding of the market and consumers for a bit, let's talk about some practical steps and also collaborations, especially given experience with your own consultancy company. Can you give an advice to Italian wineries when they select and evaluate distributors and importers in Hong Kong? And are there any red flags maybe for them?
I think that especially for those, the small family wineries, just avoid those the biggest importer in the market. I think that if you're a small winery, you need to have someone who truly appreciates your wine to represent your products to the market. I think there's so many small distributor in Hong Kong, they more willing to sell or willing to introduce small family products to their clients instead of the big names. So I think that's for those family-owned winery, they need to be careful on selecting who will truly appreciate the wine or truly understand what you are doing in Italy. And as they know how to represent your wine to the right group of clients. I think this is number one. And then for the biggest name, I don't need to talk much about that because they're doing very well. If you want to target restaurants, clients, you need to find those small distributors who have a very good relationship with sommelier. So you need to ask them where or what kind of tunnels you're good at. Like if the distributor good at retail, but doesn't know anyone in the industry of sommelier world, your wine probably can't go to the restaurants. So this is not what you want, right? So you need to find the right person, ask them who you know or what you're good at. I strongly recommend that to join Phoenix for Hong Kong coming because I think this is the best channel, the best opportunity for you to expose your wine to distributors. So that's my suggestion.
Okay, great. And also, again, for smaller wineries, family owned wineries, can you share a couple of names like this smaller companies, but they are pretty good at representing these smaller wineries?
Yes, my good friend Michele, the name of the company called Cheese Meets Wine. I think that the portfolio of the company is good. They focus on small production, organic, biodynamic, or natural wine from Italy, 100% Italian wine. The other one is also my friend Alan. His company called Deco Wine. Also focus on small production wineries, very boutique winery, and he is a very passionate person as well. So these two are my favorite Italian distributor. And one more called Wine Culture. They sell not only Italian wine, but wine from Austria, France, Champagne, etc., etc. But they do have a very good Italian wine portfolio as well.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Now let's move to your company. So, can you explain us the collaboration with Som's philosophy? How does your consultancy and also, especially your consultancy and brand ambassadorship work, and what does it include?
Okay. It is, as a consultant company, we really need to tailor-made the menu or our service to different clients. We provide quite different services or different package to different clients based on their needs, not what we provide. For example, like some sushi restaurants, they don't really need me to stay on the floor for them. And then it's also they don't need a very big wine is like 100 SKU. They just need maybe 10 to 20. So I need to adjust my package not based on the monthly charge, but based on the sales of the wine for them, for this kind of clients. And also for some restaurants, they need more than that. So they need me to create a wine list, to create layout, to select the wine and sake. And also they need me to provide training for their staff and also the backup material. For example, because I'm not on the floor, the main point is I'm not on the floor. So I need to make sure the wine program run right without me after I select the wine. So I need to create those training material for them. For each wine, I have my little wine card for them. So make sure that the staff know what is going on and know how to introduce the wine to the customer. This kind of staff training. And also they need me to do pairing. I think wine pairing is one of the most important service in the wine program. Also, special wine events we need to make sure, the wine program or the restaurants has good exposure on the market. So I need to host wine events with my clients time to time to make sure they have good exposure in the markets as well. Also, social media is the key. So I need to share the news for them and then to promote the restaurants or the bars for my clients as well. And I got quite a lot of different clients like Western restaurants like bistro style, three-star Michelin sushi restaurants, also supermarkets. So it is really, really tailor-made. So I can't say that I have a
Mm-hmm.
certain thing to do for them, but really based on their needs. And for the ambassadorship, more or less like providing my professional advices for them. For example, like Sideshow Sparkling Tea. When I join them, they request me to taste the tea, the perfect temperature, what is the perfect temperature to taste the tea, and also what kind of glassware to taste the tea as well. So I need to provide this kind of professional advices for them, and then I need to represent them to their clients doing staff training or hosting events for them. And then, for example, like Vivant, the Vivant is temperature control devices from Taiwan, so very high tech. So I need to help them to approach the right person in the market, and I represent them to showcase the products. And then I need to host monthly meeting with them to follow up the sales or providing my advices for them in different markets as well. So yeah, I do quite a lot of different things.
For example, let's say like the brand ambassadorship for a wine producer, what would it include? Like what kind of events, what kind of activities would you offer them to do?
It's based on which type of winery is that. For some of the most famous name, like if you are talking about like a wine producer from Brunello di Montalcino, I think that's hosting wine events, wine dinner or wine lunch at fine dining restaurants is the most appropriate way to promote their wine. But for the small winery, I prefer some like fireside chat, like what taste the wine, but is more like a small group of communication, let them to ask the question about the winery, and then more like face-to-face communication, let them truly understand the passion, the winemaking technique behind the wine label. I think this is really based on their needs and then based on what they expect.
Hmm.
So I like to do small events. I mean, it's more cozy because of the interaction is better. So people ask questions, I answer immediately instead of hosting master classes. Of course, if they want me to, I can also do it for them too.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, before we move to another topic, again, you're well-established sommelier. You have a lot of experience, so many years in the industry. I would like to ask you, for some of the young wine professionals listening to us, if you just start your sommelier career, like as a som on the floor, what would be your paycheck, like an average span of the paycheck in Hong Kong, whether you're an assistant som or you just starting as a som yourself?
All right. So I will say it in Hong Kong dollars.
Okay.
So for a junior sommelier or wine waiter or junior sommelier title, it is less than 20,000 I mean, it will be about 18,000 Hong Kong dollar.
Hmm.
And for a assistant sommelier will be more than that, of course. It's about 25,000 Hong Kong dollars to about 28,000 Hong Kong dollars. For a experienced sommelier, head sommelier or so, I think it's about 32,000 to 35,000 Hong Kong dollars around. For a beverage manager, or a sommelier director or this kind of title. And it's not only about the wine, you also need to manage the beer, sake, everything. I think that's will be more than 38,000 Hong Kong dollars to 45,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Hmm. Okay. And also, like, more experience you get, like, more events you're gonna participate, more hassle. Like, I mean, more opportunities you're gonna get. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you a lot. It's just I don't see many people actually talking about money that much, especially like how much people earn. It's something that I wanted to know
Yeah.
when I was interested, like trying to find my way in wine. So thank you for not shying away from this
Thank
question.
you. Thank you for asking.
Okay, finally, we are going to explore how Italian wineries can adapt culturally and how can they help educate the market maybe, and also how can they structure their long-term success in Hong Kong. So again, Hong Kong is an established market. And how do you think how much localization is needed for Hong Kong? For example, labels, or maybe packaging or storytelling or some kind of marketing, specific marketing content.
Mm. I think the label is quite important nowadays because especially for the youngest generations. So now we have a lot of, new 18 years old drinkers. And then those people know nothing about wine, but just like craft beer, if you go to a craft beer shop, which one you're gonna buy? You buy the most beautiful one, the one come with a cool labels, isn't it? So for so many Italian wine labels, I see that they are very, very old school style. I'm not saying that the quality, but the label design. So I think that the label design is very important. If you want to do well if you want to promote your wine to the new generation, you better need a very new design, more trendy design with graffiti on it, whatever. So this is the number one, I think. And then number two is people love to see the winemakers, especially in Hong Kong, no matter the old or the young generation. I think they love to see you. So I think that if you have the budget, if you have the time, come to Hong Kong, see people, see your clients, and I think this is very important as well. And also the website. People love to check the website of your winery. Just so you better
Mhm.
upgrade your website or design your website with a right way, easy way for people to check. I do a lot of research when I do master classes or for my own study. We need more technical information on the internet for us to check to understand your winery. So I think let's be more detailed on your website. That's also very important.
Okay, great. Thank you. And also, this brand activation activities. I'm going to name like some of them. For example, collaborations with the restaurants, chefs, or educational events, blah, blah, blah. All of them are super important. But again, some of the wineries, they don't have like enough budget to go for all of them. So for middle-sized or smaller winery, which type of events they should focus on in the beginning? How do you think?
I think small tasting, I think I still like the way how it runs. Like if you don't have the budget, you don't really necessary to do wine dinner because this costs you a lot. But you can actually deal with your distributor. You can do online tasting with them, or maybe you can come here to maybe just travel to see the people who is already selling your wine to show your appreciation. So you don't need a lot of budget to buy this, to buy that, but the key is to show your face to the clients. I think this is the most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like in any other market, I guess.
Yes. And then I think a small group of wine tasting, like a small table for 10, you are there, you show some PowerPoint of your winery. Okay, this is my fermentation tank. Tell some story and then taste some wine, ask some question, answer some questions. I think this is cost you very less. You just need a location with glasses, PowerPoints to showcase, and that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And also going back to the trends, again, sustainability, there are talks about being authentic, a lot of talks about that, and like being authentic, transparent, and so on. So these trends, they're growing globally. And how can Italian wineries leverage this effectively in Hong Kong? Like,
Hmm.
for example, if they're a sustainable winery, but they're not certified, like what they can do, for example.
I mean, it's like people love sustainability in Hong Kong, I think, more than organic or biodynamic because they don't know nothing about biodynamic, what's going on. But sustainability, people love that because of the certification, you need to pay for that. So I think this is not easy for them. But I think at least you need to keep telling people that you are doing that. And then I think besides telling people you are sustainable, you need to tell the whole story, how you do it. I think is very important. Like maybe solar panel system, maybe we use the water carefully or etc. etc. Or your package is all recycle or about you need to list that on your portfolio for the customer. I think this is the least thing we can do without a certification. I think that the philosophy behind the label is important, but at the end of the day, the quality of the wine is now is being like people love natural wine before, they love it because it sounds cool. But nowadays, more and more people focus on the quality at the end of the day. So if you say you so-called yourself is a biodynamic or natural wine, but at the end of the day, your wine is full of bread, it smells like cow dung. People started to realize that the quality is very important too.
Mhm,
So yeah, being sustainable or not, yes, of course, people love that story, but be careful on the quality as well.
mhm. Great advice. It's almost time for us to wrap up. But before doing that, we have three rapid fire questions. So if you are ready, we can start.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah. What's one key thing Italian wineries should keep in mind when entering the Hong Kong market? Try to be concise. I mean, it's a big question.
Keep the passion, Italy. You know why I love Italians so much? It's the passion, how they respect their culture. Imagine that if you break their pasta, they will kill you. Okay, if you add an ice cube in the wine, they kill you. If you ask for a cappuccino during the main course, they kill you. If you put pineapple on the pizza, they kill you. But why? Because they love their culture, they love their food and wine. They are so passionate all the time. So please keep that way. People love that, at least I love Italian because of this. So keep passionate, keep, the warm blood in yourself.
Okay. So stay intolerant.
Yes.
Okay, and if you had to pick one Italian wine region that has untapped potential in Hong Kong and one that is overrepresented, which would they be and why?
Overrepresented.
One underrepresented and one overrepresented.
Okay. I think Chianti, Chianti or Chianti Classico, they are so famous and, but underrated. I think Sardinia. We don't have a lot of Sardinian wine here, but I think that Sardinian wine is very interesting. Even though we don't have a lot, but we do have some of them in Hong Kong. But the quality is super, super good, I think. So I would like to have more Sardinian wine in Hong Kong and to taste the real potential of this. So I think Sardinian wine is the most underrated wine in Hong Kong.
Mhm. So, Sardinia.
Yeah.
I hope that Sardinian winemakers, producers will listen to this interview specifically. Okay. And the last question, very practical question, especially for those who want to go and travel to Hong Kong and see the wine venues or also the Italian wine producers, for example, or any other producer. So, what are some of your favorite wine spots in Hong Kong or beer too and spirits too? Why not?
Yeah, I think I can name a few of wine bars in Hong Kong. Mato is a coffee place, but they have a very good wine list. They sell a lot of good wine, especially Italian wine. Wallace is a sommelier. He loves Italian wine so much. And then the other one is Cyclone. It's a tiny wine bar in Central. Cyclone is owned by my friend called Jack. He is a very passionate guy, and his list focus on Burgundy, but also he has a lot of boutique winery from Italy as well. And also La Caban. La Caban is a natural wine bar, cozy. They are very small wine bar, but they open for many years. They got a lot of good natural wine, not funky one, and also they are focusing on small winery. And then they have a very good wines from Italy as well. And for beer, I normally stay at home for beer.
Okay.
And yeah. Yes, there's some tap room in Hong Kong, quite interesting, but I don't know they're still opening or they closed already. But yeah, and spirit go to Club Ching. The spelling of Ching is Qing, Club Ching. They are the most famous whiskey bar in town. There's a lot of good whiskey. My friend also very passionate, know everything about whiskey. Just go there, you can taste whatever you want. Oh yeah, this is my suggestion so far.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next time traveling to Hong Kong, we know where to go and where probably to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, one more place I forgot to say is Zhaomei. It's a very local place.
Well, Dalmei.
Zau. Mei is Mei. Very local place. Very authentic Hong Kong style bar.
Hmm.
We serve very good wine list, a lot of wine by the glass, expensive or low price by the glass, very good experience. And then every time you order a wine, the owner always has a lot of story to tell. Great place. Sommeliers love that. Wine lovers love that. So please, yeah, also don't miss out to that. Bars too.
Great. Thank you for all the suggestions. And the last question, if some of our listeners want to contact you, what is the better way to contact you?
I mean, Instagram, follow my Instagram, Reeze the underscore zombie. You can ask me questions if you have any. You can contact me anytime. Also, if you like the old style way, email Reeze Choi at somsfield.com. You can also reach me out via email address too.
Hmm. Okay, great. Thank you. And hope to meeting you again, either in Italy, in Kazakhstan, or in Hong Kong. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
looking forward to it. Thank you very much for having me again.
Thanks for joining us on Asia Wine Market. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your fellow wine professionals wherever you get your pods. To stay updated on upcoming wine events, market insights, visit ItalianWinePodcast.com. Catch you in the next episode. And until then, cheers from Asia.